Welcome, welcome, welcome. Dustin Harris hanging out with you on the Appraiser Coach podcast. Another mini-sode for you. Just want to talk to you about a question that I posed online. This is in one of my closed Facebook groups online to other appraisers, and got a variety of different answers back from those appraisers that I thought that, I thought that I would share with you and just talk to a little bit to you about, and maybe get an idea from you as to what your opinion is on this particular thing. But I first want to pause here and just talk to you a little bit about ANow. ANow software is a sponsor here, and ANow right now integrates with Mode, which is super cool, allows us to be able to do more with less. That's ANow software. Go to anow.com/coach. Again, that's anow.com/coach. All right, today, folks, I want to talk a little bit about, kind of a small question, but it's something I always wonder about, and I'm curious as to what your opinion is on this. As appraisers, we're in a lot of homes, and we see a lot of things, and let's be honest, most of the time, it's not that amazing, right? I mean, it's pretty rare, even in the high-end areas that I work, say in Jackson Hole, Wyoming, where we're dealing with $5, $6, $15, $20 million homes, even then, it's pretty rare that I see something that goes, whoa, that's incredible, right? I mean, most of the time you're just paying for land over there anyway. The house itself, sure, it's nice, but I've been doing this 22 years. It's pretty rare that I see something spectacular, even though every appraisal inspection that I have that someone's on site, of course, they think that their house is a castle, right? And they're always talking about how great their house is. And look at the contact paper that we put in the kitchen drawers. Do they even use contact paper anymore? I don't know. But, the ceiling fans and everything else that I think is just super spectacular, right? Because I try to be a nice guy, my temptation is to say, yeah, wow, that's really cool. I'll make a note of that, right? And in the end of the appointment, I find myself, just because it just is awkward to say, well, okay, well, thanks. See ya, without saying something. I mean, I just walked through the private areas of their home, right? For some reason, I feel an obligation to say something to the effect of, nice house, or, you got a beautiful house here, or something like that. Especially, I don't know, maybe this is sexist, okay? Probably is, but sometimes sometimes it's let's just put it this way. If it's a female, I typically am more inclined to compliment. I know, beat me up. I am. I'll just be honest with you. If I'm standing there and it's the wife that's showing me through the house, a lot of times I'll just say, well, this is a very nice home. Thank you for your time, whatever. My question that I threw out over the weekend to my Appraiser Coach Dream Team online Facebook group is, when you are inspecting, do you ever compliment the homeowner's house, i.e., quote, you have a beautiful home, or do you think it's unprofessional coming from an unbiased appraiser? Now, there was a lot of mixed results online. Most appraisers say that, yes, they do compliment, but typically they only compliment when it has to do with something that's unique or particularly interesting, okay? And a lot of times they'll compliment on the personal items, which I think is interesting. Why? The concern that I have is every time I open my mouth, on the one hand, I want to be nice, right? I want to say to them, hey, you got a nice home, beautiful home. Thank you for just because it's, it's common courtesy, right? I just walked through their home. It would be nice if I said something positive as I'm walking out the door. So I try to. But every time I do so, I always have this little guy in the back of my head that says, Dustin, this could come back to bite you. How can it come back to bite me? I want to get to that after the break, but I first want to pause here and remind you we're sponsored by ANow Software. ANow is the software that I have been using to manage my appraisal office for the last couple of years. What do I mean by manage? Folks, I'm talking about understanding what my business is doing at any moment. That's what ANow can do for me. I can go into ANow and click on the analytics tab, and I can know exactly how many appraisals I'm doing. I can know what areas I'm doing them in. I can know what types of appraisals. Maybe it's non-lender, maybe it's lender. I can know with each order where we're at in the process. I get a phone call and someone says, where are we at with this appraisal? In an instant, I can tell them, well, the inspection's been done. We're in the process of finding comparables right now. Should be done in a couple days. ANow allows me to do that, and now ANow integrates with Mode. Go to anow.com/coach for more information. Again, anow.com/coach. All right, folks, we are talking today about a possible question, or definite question, but possible reaction that you might have in a home, and maybe the pros and cons of doing so. So the idea is that, I've just walked through someone's house, and it just seems like it's common courtesy to say, you've got a nice home here. Or, they say something to the effect of, these are birch hand-hewn logs that we've, got from grandma's old barn that are on the floor here. And I want to say, oh, those are gorgeous. Those are beautiful. And then the hesitation I have is this little guy in the back of my brain that says, Dustin, don't do that. Why? As an appraiser, we're supposed to be unbiased, right? And so the question is, am I now becoming an advocate for the homeowner, or am I saying something that could get myself in hot water later when I compliment the homeowner? Let me give you one of the situations that happened online. I'm going to keep this guy anonymous, but he responded to the question on my Facebook group. And he said that he had an experience where he had complimented the homeowner, and then they came in too low, right? That always happens, or never happens. Came in too low. And as part of the complaint, the complainant said, you told me da-da-da-da-da. In other words, they used as evidence, how could you come in so low on my house when you told me what a beautiful house it was, right? Or how could you not make adjustments for those hand-hewn birch log floor because you mentioned it when you were out there, right? Now, I don't know that it's a huge problem. I really don't. I don't think you're stepping into any legal issues when you say, hey, it's a beautiful home, gorgeous home, I like the way you've decorated, what have you. I really don't. But I've never run into a situation where it's come back to bite me. It may. Someday it may be, hey, when you were out here, you said da-da-da-da-da, and I don't think your appraisal reflects da-da-da-da-da. Is it a problem? I don't know. I want to hear from you. If you don't mind, whether you are on the Coach Cam on YouTube or whether you're online, please make a comment below, okay? Make a comment below and help me. Have you had experiences where you've made a comment at the homeowner as trying to be complimentary and it has come back to bite you? I would love to hear about it. But as we wrap up, let me make a suggestion, okay? And this is a suggestion to me as well. Rather than saying you have a beautiful home here, perhaps I ought to notice something unique about the house when I'm walking through and point that out. Not that it's beautiful in the sense that it affects value, but say something, well, those are very interesting swords you have on your wall or something. I don't know, maybe, as I'm saying that, I'm thinking maybe I'm getting too personal at that point. Maybe I'm like, no, this guy's creepy. Like he's making comments about my walls. I don't know. It's such a weird thing to be an appraiser. It really is. On one hand, I love it, right? I love the opportunity to go into people's private domains and see how they really live. On the other hand, it's a little bit creepy because, you're in this weird dynamic of being in someone's private domain. And what do you say? What do you not say? I would love to hear from you. Here's the other suggestion that was made online as we wrap up. Somebody said, instead of complimenting them directly, why don't you allow them to compliment themselves by opening up the opportunity for them to do so? And the suggestions that they had were, maybe you say, for example, maybe you go outside and there's a huge deck, right? And you might, instead of saying, wow, that's a beautiful deck, or wow, this is really cool, you ought to say something about, maybe say, wow, I'll bet you really enjoy entertaining out here, right? Or you're in the kitchen and say, wow, I'll bet you preparing food in this particular space is kind of a joy, or something like that. In other words, you're making a comment about the obvious, but you're not directly complimenting the obvious. I'd love to hear from you folks. Comment below, and we'll catch you next time here on the Appraiser Coach Podcast.